Hi, my name is Alan. I am a teaching artist with Community Word Project. And today we're going to use a program called Sketchpad to just create. You're going to be able to create whatever you want. Some of you might have used this program before. It's super simple to use. I'm going to walk you through it in just a minute here. But yeah, the whole point of this is just to just let your mind wander and just create anything abstract. You could create a work of art that you've been thinking about if you're an artistic type person. Um, if you're having trouble with a math problem and you want to get away from it for a minute, maybe this is an activity to do to get your mind off the math problem. What I find, my art form actually that I practice and have studied is theater. And so I actually, sketching, visual art it's not my strength. But what I find is that oftentimes when I come up with a problem in my work, like if I'm writing a play and there's a character that I'm trying to develop and I'm not sure what type of characteristics I want a character to have, um, I might just put the play aside and just grab a sketch pad and a pencil and just doodle, just draw and let my mind wander. And sometimes when my mind wanders, I come up with new ideas that then I bring back to the play. Um, which is what we can do with any problem that we have. Maybe you're studying something in a science class and it's really difficult. You might step away from that and just do some drawing to kind of free your mind up a little bit. Or if you just want to pass the time, and we all know right now there's a lot of time to pass, and sometimes just sitting there and sketching something out, um, it can just help time pass, and it can be that simple. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to show you my screen here on my computer in just a second here and walk you through Sketchpad as I kind of just create something on the fly. And then when we're done with that part of this, you'll have like 15 minutes and just take those 15 minutes, create whatever you want. And then I'm going to show you how to save it as well when we go over the software in a second. And then you can share that. You can share it with your class. Maybe it's something that your teacher will want to have a conversation about, your different sketches and what you might have been thinking while you were sketching, or I don't know, maybe just something to just share with other people, whoever you want. All right, here we go. All right, so first things first, you're going to go to your web browser and type in sketch.io, sketch.io, and hit enter, and that's going to bring you to this page here. You can choose whatever language you want to work with. This app, I'm going to choose English, and so I'm going to click on that, and it's going to bring up a blank canvas, so a new file. Now, over here on the left, you're going to see all your different options. So I'm going to start here with Paintbrush. So I'm just clicking on things using my mouse pad. If you have a touch screen, like a tablet or something, you can do all this with your finger, just touching everything on the screen. And I can choose whatever color I want. From up here, I'm going to let's choose like a bright yellow. And then I can make this a really big paintbrush stroke or small, real thin. And then I can also make it blurry by doing this to the right, or it's a sharper line that way. I'm going to start with a sharper line. And actually, I think I want my paintbrush size to be a little bigger. So here we go. I'm just going to draw some lines. Not really thinking about it. Oops. I'll come back here. And, just doing whatever. Let's go in the middle of there, maybe come down here. All right. Now what I can do if I want to try something different here is I could go to, let's say like calligraphy, for instance. So like if you're writing fancy words, you can use calligraphy for that. I'm not going to use it for that. I'm just going to create something, again, more lines. And here's the line width and the tip angle, because when you're using a calligraphy pen, there's actually an angle involved in that. So something like that maybe. And I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to do some interesting lines in here. Again, like I said before, I am not a visual artist by training, so this is just for fun. This is just a way to clear my head, to get me to relax. and not stress too much about things. Maybe there's some sort of universal quality to this where each one of these is filled with this red. I don't know. Let's just, and I'm just scrolling back and forth here. I actually have more canvas over here that I can work with if I want. And now let's move on to something more fun. So if I go back over here, I have these cool options like web. And I'm going to change this outline color. Now down here I have these options with this palette where I can choose this little white arrow and choose whatever color I want. And then I can take the little circle in here, and if I want to go darker within that color range or lighter, whatever, I'm going to click, and I can click right on there to get started. So I can click like, all right, that's kind of the range I want, but now I'm just dragging that arrow maybe a little bit more specifically to where I want. So there we go. I'm going to go with a bright blue. And line width, I want this to be pretty prominent on the page, so I'm going to make it a little big there and then spread, something like that, maybe in the middle. It's showing you a little bit about right there in that image right here what's about to happen. So now this is like a web. It'll connect to itself. It's really cool. And this, talk about relaxing while doodling, I could do this all day. All day. What's also cool is there's these other features where, first of all, there's the fill. So you can do a fill color. So it would fill all of the empty spaces. And here we have that happening. You see how that goes on there. Pretty cool. But something else that's cool, if I don't want fill, I can just I can turn the fill off just by clicking the little dropper right there. But what if I want something different for the outline? Like I want some cool effect to it. Well, it has a bunch of these predetermined patterns, and you've got lines and radials. I'll show you a few of these here. And that's going to give you a cool look there, a gradient. You see how it's changing colors. Very cool. And then if I want to do, these are called presets. If I want to do maybe a radial preset, oops, where am I at? Sometimes, one thing I've noticed, sometimes this thing glitches a little bit, this website, so for some reason I can't get onto the radial there. It could be also because it doesn't work for this specific feature. Patterns, though, I can do patterns. Just choose a pattern, and it'll give me some patterns, different pattern looks. The same goes for the fill. I can do, so the radial works for the fill on this option. So I could do like a cool, let's see, like that rainbow effect there. And when I go to fill, it's going to fill it with that. Yeah, there you go. So you see you can do all kinds of cool stuff. Then something else that I really like here is this mirror brush. And what's cool about this, and I'm going to go to I'm going to do black on this, because this is kind of, for me, some sort of like unifying thing to pull everything all together. I'm not going to do any fill. So I'm going to just go back to white for that. So actually, it's going to, let's see, no, I don't even want white. I'm going to do it with no fill. This is something that, let's see, it's going to create a bunch of the same thing as you draw. So let's go with 8 maybe. And you can see how it's got 8 little dots here. And I can start wherever I want. And you can see it's following where my cursor is. So that's where it's going to start in all the different 8 quadrants. And it's going to go to this middle spot right here. And then I'm just still holding down my mouse pad. So it's like one continuous line. But if I lift up, I can start a new one. And it's just going to do that, and it's still going to come back into this area here. Maybe if I go even bigger with the line, let's try something else here. We're starting from the middle, and now we're moving our way out. And I could literally cover up most of the canvas with this if I want and just have a little bit of that other stuff poking through. Now, one thing here is if I hold Control and then the minus, I can make my screen, I can make my canvas smaller. So now I have a full view of what I'm doing here. As I showed you before, I had some blank spots over here. This will also make this smaller, so I didn't want to do that at first because I want to make sure everyone saw these features bigger. There's plenty more to play around with here. There's clip art, so you can do kind of all kinds of cool clip art and drop things in, you know, and you can drag things around. You can grab the corner of something and actually turn it. So if you get on that green arrow there, you can drag and turn it whatever direction you want. You can resize anything that you put in here. What you do is you go over to the corner so the corner gets green. What you want to do though is you want to hold your shift key down so it resizes it proportionally. I'm holding my shift key down right now. Let me show you what happens when I don't. If I don't have my shift key down and I go to resize this, it's going to resize it which way. It's going to smush it up, and that maybe I want that. That's fine. A lot of times you wouldn't want that. Now, if I want to get rid of something, I just click on the object. Well, actually, let me go back to, you want to go back to the select function here. Click on the object, and you can see how it's outlined, and just hit delete. You can do that with anything within your artwork here. You can see how it's highlighting different boxes. You can move things too. So whatever this thing is here, let's see, whatever I'm on, oh, look, there's that. I can move that if I want. And if I want, I can just move it right back if I want to go back to where I want to have it, or where I had it before. And I kind of like this. It's really abstract. It's kind of wacky. I'm going to save this out now. So to save it, you just go down here, and it says, actually, let me move this out of the way here. You've got the save button here. It says export. It should say export. Come on. There we go. Go there. And then I can download it as a JPEG, as a PDF. I suggest doing it as, actually for this project, doing it as a PDF, because sometimes when you do it as a JPEG, it can mess up the backgrounds and colors. So for this, let's just do PDF. And it's going to download it to your computer. And then I have it that I can open it up and I can share it with people and talk about it and say, you know, what inspired me to do this, or what was I thinking while I was doing this artwork, or whatever it is that I want to share. So this, thank you very much. This is the end of this video, and now take 15 minutes and use Sketchpad here to create whatever you want, and have an awesome day.